So y'all can go ahead and mark your calendars down because this is going to be a fun fight. It'll be September the 23rd in Osaka, Japan, and there's a pretty high chance that your boy BT is going to be there in the flesh because I do plan on being in Japan around this time, and I've already marked my itinerary down for me to be at this fight as well as Jin Suzuki's fight against David Samaju as well, and as also Takuma Inoue versus Tenshin's rematch. I'm planning on being at all these fights because I'll be in Japan around that time. But add this one to the list. September the 23rd, you're going to have the return of one of my favorite fighters, Sebastian Hernandez Reyes, as he enters the ring once again for the first time since his controversial loss to Junto Nakatani, a fight that a lot of people, myself included, really feel like he won, and they didn't give it to him because they had to let Junto win, so Inoue and Nakatani can have it for the big money in Japan. But most people who are honest people who watched that fight with Junto and Reyes know who the real winner was, and it wasn't Junto. That being said, he's in a good fight. I actually interviewed Reyes recently, and I asked him if he's going to be a featherweight moving forward. He has confirmed to me that featherweight is his new weight class, and the only way he's going back down to 122 is for a Junto rematch. So this is going to be his weight class moving forward. And he's going to dip his toe in the water and make his, I don't want to say his debut because he's had fights at featherweight, but he's going to be fighting this fight at featherweight and beginning this part of his featherweight campaign, taking on the very very tough fringe contender in Kiyonosuke Kameda. And I got to give the cousin of the Kameda brothers a lot of credit because his record is not pretty, 16-5-2, but he's fought great opposition, amazing opposition. I mean, if you just if you include this fight with Reyes, his last 4 fights will be Luis Neri, David Picasso, John Real Casimiro, and Sebastian Hernandez Reyes. And look, a lot of people say that Kiyonosuke Kameda isn't that good, right? The truth is, he fought David Picasso tooth and nail when they fought to a majority decision loss, and he beat John Real Casimiro. So he's better than people give him credit for. And I think he's a solid fringe contender and definitely a worthy opponent for Sebastian Hernandez Reyes at this stage. Now, one of the things that I got to raise my eyebrows at is the fact that this fight is not scheduled for 12 rounds. This fight is not even scheduled for 10 rounds. This fight is going to be scheduled for 8 rounds, which I find very, very, very weird because these are both fighters that have fought, that are ranked, Kameda's last 2 fights have been 3 fights actually have been 10-round fights. Reyes has obviously, been in his fair share of, 10-round fights, and the Junto fight was his first 12-round fight. So these are guys that are at that level. I don't understand why this has to be 8 rounds, but nonetheless, it's been scheduled for 8 rounds, so that just means that both fighters are going to have to start a little faster, right? And I think this is a very important fight for Sebastian Hernandez Reyes because, He made it very clear to me in our interview that he does have ambition to make a name for himself in this weight class. He wants to fight Rafael Espinoza and Brandon Figueroa and Angelo Leo and Bruce Carrington and all these kind of guys and give you guys, the boxing fans, great fights. But he can't get there if he can't beat the fringe guys like Kameda, right? So it's going to be a good fight. Reyes is not going to reinvent the wheel. He fights in a high guard, high pressure, high volume Mexican style. And he does a style of very good justice. He keeps the elbows tight. He's in the high guard. He's moving his shoulders. He looks for openings to place around the guard. Keeps his punches nice and tight. Kameda's similar, but I would say he doesn't fight that style quite as good as Reyes. But nonetheless, this fight's going to be about urgency. It's going to be about urgency. It's going to be about output. And it's going to be about who can make the other take the first step back. And it's going to be a war for as long as it lasts. And, I think a win here is massive for either guy because if you're Sebastian Hernandez Reyes, this now puts you in a position where, if you beat Kiyonosuke Kameda, you're now going to be in the top 15 at featherweight. Reyes already has a great relationship with a lot of the Japanese fighters in Japan because he was part of Naoya Inoue camps. He made his name. His reputation was built in Naoya Inoue camps, parking dudes left and right and center in the gyms at Ohashi Boxing Gym. So much so to the point that they had to get Naoya to get in there and spar with him because that was the only guy that could really do anything with him at Ohashi Gym. So if he wins here and has an impressive performance, I could see him fighting other Japanese featherweights like Ryota Owan, Ryota Muto, Makita Nakano, those kind of guys. But even outside of Japan, there's plenty of great fighters in the rankings that he could fight. And who wouldn't want to fight Sebastian Hernandez Reyes? This is a guy that has a win over Azhar Hovhannisyan. He gave one of the best pound fighters in the world. Not just all he could handle, but I thought he beat him. And now you're fighting a guy like Kameda. So I mean, this would just be a great another notch for what's been a great run for him in his career. And I don't think you can do much better. You can't do much better than, as far as action goes, than this fight. I think this is gonna be one of those fights that really delivers in the entertainment department. Now, if you're someone that likes to see, circling the ring, probing with the jab, the more nuanced things of boxing, this is not going to be that kind of fight. This is going to be very much in the pocket, whose balls are bigger, who's stronger, who can make the other person take the first step back. So Sebastian Hernandez Reyes, this will be the first time that he's fighting in Japan. He's never fought in Japan before, so he'll be going to Kameda's hometown in Osaka. And I expect it to be an absolutely amazing fight. And God willing, I hope I'm there. And, I could be there to just really and truthfully see what it's going to be. Kameda is, how old is Kameda? Kameda is what? He's 27. He's 27, but I feel like Kameda has packed in a lot of experience to the, 21 professional fights he has at 27 years old. So a win here to me would be just amazing. And I actually think I would go as far as to say a win here would make him a fringe. It would take him from a fringe top 15 guy to maybe a guy you could say that's in the, possibly you're knocking on the door of a top 10 spot. Because, like I said, it's not about just what your record is, but who are you fighting? And he's fighting a lot of good people. So I'm gonna leave it at that. What do you guys think? Reyes versus Kameda. I'm gonna give the edge to, and I'll say the slight edge to Sebastian Hernandez Reyes because it's an 8-rounder. If it was a 10 or a 12, I would say Reyes is winning this fight, no problem. But the fact that he's going to be in Osaka, Kameda's hometown, they're making it an 8-rounder, could make things a bit more difficult on him. But that just means he has to start faster and get right to it. Which, who knows? Maybe it actually makes him fight better. We'll see how it goes. But I like Reyes to beat Kameda. Is he gonna stop him? I'm going to say he beats him on points. He outworks him and beats him on points in a really exciting fight. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys make of Sebastian Hernandez Reyes packing his bags and dusting off his passport to fight Kiyonosuke Kameda in his, at featherweight, where he's going to be campaigning now? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.